Or...
Just give me a second.
No problem.
So there we go.
Yes, perfect. So participants, please type your questions so that we can give you a microphone and benefit these last two presentations as well to make it more interactive. Thank you, Fahim. Go ahead.
Sure. So first of all, hello to everyone, and thank you very much for having me here. Thank you, Musin, and everyone from Barry. Maybe a quick introduction of myself, why I'm here and why I'm talking about AI, and then continuing on the topic itself. So yeah, my name is Fahim Alefi. I'm working for ProSieben. ProSieben is one of the larger entertainment broadcasters in Germany and Europe. We have around 7 traditional TV channels and a lot of other entertainment activities around YouTube, influencer, and online streaming platforms like Join. If you're from Germany, you maybe have heard about Join. So we are, let's call it a full-fledged media house, and have a few other pillars too, like a dating business and a so-called commerce and venture business, like brands like Flaconi may say something to you, or Billiger Mietwagen is another big brand in Germany, or Parship itself, which is the dating business. What I am responsible for is the data strategy part within the group. And what does data strategy mean? Data strategy in this case means that my task is to identify the right topics for the group to invest in and bring those topics from an idea phase to a proof of concept phase. And if they prove to be a good idea, a valuable idea, then move them on to operation, development and operation. This is basically what I do for ProSieben. And AI itself is obviously a very, very big topic and a very big lever for us to push the business, the overall business. I'll try to explain a little bit more in detail afterwards. And maybe because I haven't said in the beginning, please feel free, Musin, I don't know if this is the way to interact here, but feel free to pose questions also in between.
Sure. Thanks a lot for allowing us. That's really interesting this way, yes, to allow them questions. So anytime there is a question in the chat area, I can just ask you for permission.
Very good, very good. So whenever there's a question, yeah, just jump in, raise your hand. Let's enter into a dialogue more than into a presentation mode. First of all, entertainment and AI are not very well known to each other. AI is new for the entertainment industry itself compared to other industries. If I look at financial industry, or if I look at manufacturing, then definitely AI has a higher maturity there than in entertainment. So if we look at AI, it's totally clear to everyone, from Google to Andreessen Horowitz, AI is the most important thing and fundamental thing, which is going to change many industries. We totally know that. Then we either have talking about AI in a very technical way, which is shown there on the lower left part. No one understands, at least not beyond the experts, no one understands. Or the right side on the lower part, it's been discussed and explained in a very trivial way, like profession of the future, next 5 years, exponential growth. So we all know this, but for entertainment, we must say that within entertainment, we are even not here yet. If we look at the entertainment industry, then this is a very, very good statement to describe the state of the industry. William Goldman is a very known producer of movies, and basically he said nobody knows anything. This is the state of the entertainment industry. Not one person in the entire motion picture field knows for a certainty what's going to work. Every time out, it's a guess. And if you're lucky, it's an educated one. And the citation is from 1983, but it still accounts today. So decisions on content, what content to air, what content to broadcast, what content to produce, are basically made based on experienced guesses from people who are for a long time in the industry and who know what will work and what will not work. So totally different to, let's say, an industry like retail, or like, let's say, food production, where you can like measure the number of yogurts you have sold, and where you can change, let's say, the packaging, and you can understand another color, another packaging has some sort of impact on sales. In entertainment, we didn't have this, and we're still at the beginning, let's say, to try to understand what has an impact. But this is the main task of entertainment, to understand how can we analyze impact of certain parts of content on the viewership at the end of the day. So that's where we stand. And I'm talking about the traditional industry, the broadcasters and the Hollywood studios and all those. I'm not talking about the new kids on the block, basically. So Netflix, YouTube, Amazon, they all have shown us that even entertainment, where everyone believed that it's only a gut feeling business, they proved that no, you can have a very analytical approach there, and you can try to analyze what your viewers want to see and what your viewers like, and even design a movie or a piece of content along, let's say, perceptions or expectations of user. You probably all know House of Cards, and House of Cards is the example for a designed story, basically, because Netflix knew that they wanted to do, or they needed to do a series on politics, and they knew it would be good to mix that with a certain type of actor, and then they found the actors mixed it, and it was a big success at that time. But this is a typical case for, not a typical case, this is the case for the benchmark case for where big amounts of data, some complex algorithms made Netflix understand what to air, what to produce, and what to let people stream. So why do I show this? Because Netflix, YouTube, Prime are our competitors in content production. Facebook, on the other side, is our competitor in ad sales, right? So ProSieben, broadcaster like ProSieben, lives from ad revenues, and Facebook does this too. So they're competing with us, but they have a lot of better and deeper understanding on what their users want and who their users actually are, compared to us. I mean, we have our online business, but we are by far not that good to understand, to segment and to target our users. So what I want to say here is entertainment stands at the very beginning, even talking about not AI, but analytics, at the very beginning of understanding who are our customers and what do they want to see, and which ads are probably fitting to those segments of viewerships. So it's a complex situation, and for us in entertainment, because we have these competitors. They are very strong on two sides, on our core product side and on our sales side, and at the same time margins suffer and everything. So and we have to stand up here and find our way out, and data and AI is going to help us. So I'm going to move quickly over these two coming slides. AI is used everywhere within media, and film, and social media, and journalism, and music, and gaming, and sports. You know that probably, but maybe when we go one step deeper, the the classical examples for, let's say, film and TV are recommendation engine, personalized targeting, search optimization, such things, or even automation of subtitles, things which are done by AI in film and movie. But the actual most important case is not mentioned here. And the most important case is basically tagging our content. So we have a huge library of content in our basement, I want to say. And there are lots of movies, and we barely know the metadata of that content. That means year of publication, name of the title itself, the actors, and probably a very, very rough summary of what's going on in that piece of content. And what we actually need is to understand which actors, which emotions, which objects, which storylining, which emotional storylining, basically, to better understand at which point users are actually stop watching our content or continuing watching our content. So the biggest task of the film and TV part within AI is to build the right content tagging algorithm, and to do this correctly with a high confidence level, in order to be able to match then content to customer segments. So social media, I'll jump over because we're on social media, and social media, everyone knows what they all do with AI and data. But journalism is another example. I don't know if those who live in Germany and who follow up with ProSieben know that we're going to start a news initiative and a news channel, a dedicated news channel from next year onwards. And news, and I can see that there is a question, or at least a chat message. I don't see the message itself.
Just asking the participants to raise their questions in case they have it, so that we can see them. You don't worry, just continue. I can see it. Thank you.
Okay. So we have this news initiative, and if you look at news in Asia, then they already have completely artificial news programs. So the speaker is not a real human. I mean, it looks like a real human. It's completely generated by AI, but it's an artificial person. The curation of the content, the articles, the news articles itself, is all made by an AI algorithm. And this is something which is obviously holding a lot of value for us. If we can, not all, but parts of it, create by AI algorithms. So this is what is in front of us, and where we just start to talk about. I'll move one further. Sorry, music, gaming, sports. Just one more remark before I come back to ProSieben itself. You all probably use Spotify or Apple Music or one of those providers. That is a good case for where, at least to my understanding, AI doesn't yet work very, very well, is the recommendation in those music apps. Because even Apple, to my understanding, doesn't have a very good personalized recommendation engine, although they have basically all information about their users. They're from everything, not only music, but also from all the video usage, from everything else, from messaging usage and everything. But what I see is that what is recommended in the Apple Music app is very, very generic and very rough, and shows like basically all types of music, which is not really very well personalized. So my point here is that we still have with major players like Apple cases where AI is not applied very well. And this is where I want to come to next, and to ProSieben, back to ProSieben. I mean, we have understood AI is very important, and everyone says that. So 9 of 10 managers say it's a business opportunity. 71% say AI helps making better decisions, or 75% say reduces costs. But then the impact itself is low. We have seen a very good example just in the case study before from Adecco, where there is really a big impact. But usually if you go across companies, then you see a lot of failed AI projects or big data projects. And we can, for ProSieben, we agree on that, because we say, like, we also have a few examples where we failed with big data and AI. And to our understanding, it comes back again to first of all, to the user focus. So who's the user and what does he want? And second, to the understanding of what value does a project create and what is required to deliver that value. And if I say value, I mean, it's easy, or not easy, but it's common understanding that for every project you start, you need to have a business case, and you need to understand the net present value of whatever you do. But this is just, from our understanding, a very distinct view on a single project. What is more important, what we have learned, that's our experience at ProSieben, is that we need to look at the opportunity cost, and we need to build up a list of projects and then set priorities on those projects. Because if we do, because our resources are, AI resources are so scarce that if we do one single big project, then we have to drop 3 other projects, which we were in the making, or which we just started, or which we wanted to start. But since we can't do everything at the same time, because we do not have the resources, we can't recruit them in the market, because the market is, as you all know, empty. We need to understand, if we start a project, what project do we drop for it? And then choosing the right project to do, that will really help to deliver the value, so that we are not, we do not end up like this analysis here. So one of our most important topics is, as I said in the beginning, content tagging. So picture recognition due to video mining, understanding even one step more what was not only understanding, not only seeing this is a person, this is a car, this is a cupboard, this is a table, but even understanding what is worn, what type of clothes, and even providing a link to a vendor. This is what one piece of content tagging. This is what we want to do, and this is where we are getting really better at it. As you can see, this graph on the right is very optimistic. I would say that we very recently managed to be better than a human, managed that our AI systems perform better than a human being. And this is the basis for us, the basis for every other project we are doing. Because in order to understand whether content was successful or not, we need to go one step deeper beneath the market shares we achieve in television, or the click numbers we achieve online. But we need to understand at which point did someone drop, or at which point did someone press on pause, or at which point someone did press on rewind or fast forward, and what had happened at that point in the video. And then summarize, and understanding what was the reason for it helps us to improve basically our content on the one side. On the other side, it also helps us to understand the preferences of our users, so that we can offer a better targeting for our advertising clients. So this is the basis of basically everything. Let me go one further. The other thing is,
short stop. Sorry, just 1 second, Fahim. A question, if you allow us.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so Daria from CNA. Daria, you can switch on the camera, please, like yesterday, because you are very active, and I'm happy for that.
I am. I'm not sure if you picked me up.
Perfect. Yes, you are here.
Yeah. All right. So, Fahim, I have a question for you. You just mentioned that you have a backlog of use cases, and you need to decide, for your team, what kind of use cases you're going to pick first or prioritize. So can you give us an insight on what dimension you evaluate the projects that you gonna do next?
On which dimensions we look at?
Yeah, like what are the factors that you use to assess?
We have a very well, not very. In our in our very modest opinion, we have a dedicated process, and the process itself is called value creation process and has 5 steps, and it's mainly a portfolio management process. So it's a funnel process. So we have in the beginning many ideas. At the end, we have a few products, data products or AI products, which drop out of the process. And in the very beginning, in the first steps, where we have only the idea of doing something, we firstly check against so-called KO or go, no-go criteria. So does it fit into our strategic direction? Do we have a business case for it? Roughly, not a detailed business case. Do we have a business owner for it? And is it technology-wise or algorithm-wise feasible? Does it seem to us feasible? Did anyone else do it yet so far or not? And those would be the go, no-go criteria. And if an idea survives this first phase, then the next phase would be understanding a little bit more in detail the process in which that actual algorithm would be embedded. Like, let's say if we are talking about targeting, then the whole targeting chain is 100% automated. Like a user lands on our page, moves on, watches some content, gets identified, logs in maybe, then it's going to be associated to a segment, and then an ad is matched to that segment and to that person, and that person gets to see that ad. So we need to understand in that case, and the specification, how that algorithm would be embedded in a specific process and how that would work. And we would start to detail the business case again. And the most important part here, do we have the resources? Do we have the resources to do it internally? Is there a solution on the market which we can buy? Do we have to source freelancers from the market, which will double the price basically, or the cost for us? And if a project survives to this phase 2, then it will move on in the proof of concept phase. And the proof of concept phase would be, sorry for the background noise, the proof of concept phase would be then that we take real data and try to build the very first proof. And then from there on it continues, and then from there on the formal boards get involved if you make a project out of it, and if you want to get a budget for it, then obviously boards and executive boards have to agree on it. Does this answer your question, or was it totally?
That's a very great answer to my question. Yeah, I have just one quick follow-up. How long, on average, does it take a project to be picked up? Because this seems like quite elaborate, right? Like where you go very deep into, doability and proof of concept and resource, finding the right resources to do it. Like, how long does it take you to do, like, even to decide like this project is going to be picked up next?
So before I answer this question, I have to say that I'm emphasizing the whole time that we are very new to AI and data as an industry. So the process is very new. So we haven't had many cases going completely through it. But the few cases we had a few cases, or let's say one case, which is supposed to become a big project for us for ProSieben, And that took from ideation to development. It's now in development. So it went through specification and proof of concept development. It took like 9 months. But this is a big project for our actual broadcast planning, which is a very complicated, very manually driven process with very specific people working on it. Not easy to get their buy-in and change management processes. So 9 months, and then we have very simple other things where it's only about automating highlight clipping, right? So we have highlight clips on our pages for videos, and to date they are made manually, but we have set up a project where an algorithm suggests the marks which should be out of a video in a highlight clip, and that took maybe 3 months from ideation to let's say it's end of proof of concept right now. So it's very different depending on, as in every company, I assume, also the political circumstances of projects, of business owners, and of involved parties. But I agree that for at least the goal should be that, let's say, 80% of the project shouldn't take longer than, let's say, 3 months to come to proof of concept. And there may be a few others, complex things and big things, which take longer, which take maybe 5 months, 6 months, like the one on program planning.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Hopefully, Daria, it was helpful for you. If not, then you can reach out to Fahim on LinkedIn. I promise he will be helping you if there is anything he could share with you. So, Fahim, thanks a lot. Fahim, you want to summarize, to finalize it because of the other speaker?
Okay, I finalize. I will give you just one. I jump on this. I jump on my last slide. This is my last slide. And this is basically, this is our battle of Winterfell. I mean, I'm from entertainment. I have to talk in movies. I don't know if you've all seen Game of Thrones, but the final battle in Game of Thrones between the living army and the army of the dead is the Battle of Winterfell. And our Battle of Winterfell in entertainment is this entertainment format success prediction, right? And it's not voodoo. It's not something totally unknown. It is possible. It's in theory. It's described. We're a bit from it yet, but this is our aim and our goal to get to understand what is driving entertainment success. And here I'm coming back to Mr. Goldman's statement, right? Because he says nobody knows anything, and it is possible to know something before you decide to produce a piece of content. And AI is going to help us. Hopefully, at least this is my task and my battle of Winterfell. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. So if there are any other questions, please